just happened in Syria? Last night, Aleppo turned into a battlefield again. Gunfire, explosions, chaos, men with rifles in the streets, vehicles burning, people running for cover, a city already scarred by war now shaken once more. The fight broke out between two forces claiming to represent Syria. On one side, the National Army under the transitional authorities now ruling from Damascus. On the other side, the Kurdish-led fighters who control large parts of the north. Each of them calls themselves the defender of the Syrian people. Each of them sees the other as an intruder. It started with a move, a column of government troops trying to enter Kurdish-held neighborhoods in Aleppo. The Kurds stopped them. Shots were fired. And in minutes, the whole area was burning. At least one soldier killed, several civilians injured, and countless families trapped in fear through the night. But this didn't start yesterday. This story goes back years. Syria's civil war began in 2011. What began as protests against the old regime became a brutal war that tore the country apart. Cities destroyed, millions displaced, and the nation split into zones of control. When the long-standing ruler finally fell in 2024, it didn't bring peace. Instead, it left a vacuum. The new transitional government took power in the south and central regions. But in the north, the Kurdish forces, who had been running their own self-governed territory and had fought ISIS for years, refused to hand anything over. They had built their own system, their own checkpoints, their own command, and now both sides believe Syria belongs to them. That's why the country stands divided. Two flags, two administrations, two armies, one broken homeland. Aleppo sits right on the fault line, half under one power, half under another. Every time one side tries to expand control, clashes follow. The people of Aleppo, once the heart of Syria's economy, now live between armed patrols and unpredictable nights like this one. Early this morning, both sides said the shooting had stopped. But everyone knows how temporary that is. Syria has lived through too many ceasefires that meant nothing. Because the real fight isn't about one street or one checkpoint, it's about who owns the future of Syria. 14 years after the first protesters shouted for freedom, the country is still bleeding from the same wound. Different leaders, different banners, but the same war continuing in another form. And while the world scrolls past the videos, the smoke, the flames, the screaming in the background, the people living there know this truth. Peace in Syria still isn't real. It's only a pause between gunfire.